If you ever felt like eating a skyscraper but were afraid it might disagree with you, then Rampage is the game you need to be playing. You can literally destroy giant buildings by slamming your fist through their walls and then watch them tumble to the ground with that characteristic puff of dust at ground level, as the building collapses into a heap of rubble. There exist two different versions of Rampage for the Commodore 64. In the European version, the computer plays the rest of the non-human controlled monsters, and that's cool, because it means there are always 3 monsters together on the screen. I feel sorry for those dudes, transformed into gigantic animalistic monsters due to various experiment-related accidents. George, who was transformed into a King Kong-like gorilla by an experimental vitamin. Lizzie, who was transformed into an emir-like reptile by a radioactive lake. And Ralph, who was transformed into a giant bipedal wolf by a food additive. In the USA version, you go it alone. However, it does feel as though the controls are much smoother than in the European version, which makes it more playable. And the graphics are also slightly different. Admittedly, however, it was the European version I grew up with, so I'm obviously going to favour that one for the nostalgia alone. As you'll see here, the graphics were not exactly spectacular on the original Bally Midway coin-op, yet it still managed to fit itself into the cult status of games. Okay, it's not instantly memorable like Bubble Bobble or even Bomb Jack, but it has a loyal and devoted band of supporters, I'm sure. However, games like this were not all about graphics and concentrated more on playability. That's what made Rampage so appealing, and is one of the reasons for this game's popularity on the Commodore 64. The basic idea is very simple. You control a monster and go on a rampage, crushing tanks, smashing buildings, knocking helicopters out of the sky, and generally having a smashing good time. You control one of the 3 monsters mentioned earlier. Eating people isn't discouraged either in Rampage. Your monster will need to snatch a person burger from time to time. These people appear at the windows of the apartment blocks and skyscrapers you're attempting to demolish. Just grab them and munch them for some extra energy. Crunchy yumminess. The Amiga version of the arcade classic is just as good as the coin-op original, with lots of fun little touches, like a snowy screen TV that's revealed as you destroy a building. Of course, the militia is trying to stop you, but that's okay. They make delectable snacks. There are loads of cities to smash up and crush your way through. But of course, the authorities are not going to stand by and watch their finest buildings be demolished, so they send in the army, with tanks blasting you, snipers taking potshots at you from the windows of the buildings, and helicopters shooting at you from the air. But it takes a great deal of lead to sink a Rampage monster, so the main thing you have to worry about are your mutated friends, who, in the European version, tend to swing their mighty fist at you if they feel you are interfering with their own demolition enjoyment. Points are earned by destroying buildings basically, and each time you bash out a section of the wall, points are added in your scorebox. Only when all of the buildings are destroyed can you progress to the next city, and as there are tons of cities, this can be a fairly lengthy challenge. As you continue smashing your way through cities, your monster will need to eat more or less constantly to keep their energy barometer topped up. Various morsels, including human beings, appear at the windows, and the best rule of thumb is, if it moves, eat it. You should, however, go easy on the toasters and TVs, as these sap your energy, as do direct hits from the snipers, tanks, and guns. There's some great moments in this game too, like when a monster runs out of energy. They shrink back down to human size and limp off the screen completely naked. Also, you can eat your fellow monster if he or she shrinks back down to human form. I also loved watching the helicopters going into a spin when you punch them skyward. The graphics and animation are pretty good, even down to the daft expressions on the monsters' faces. The only thing, really, was the last ability. Through all of this game's great playability, it just wasn't a game I could play for hours at a time. It's certainly great fun for a while, but whether you'll want to batter your way through all of the cities is another question. Overall, I will definitely say that Rampage is 100% a fun and addictive game though, and if you love the arcade version, then you won't be disappointed with the Commodore 64 version at least. Sure, it might be a little less graphically polished, but all of the essential gameplay elements that made the Bally Midway game the smash that it was in the arcades are here to play on your trusty Commodore 64. Thanks for watching guys. If you enjoyed Rampage, then please hit the like button. And if you're enjoying the nostalgic memories, then please consider hitting subscribe and following the channel. With plenty more Commodore memories on the playlist and another coming up right now, it'd be great for you to join us on this epic journey down memory lane. Hopefully, I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, bye for now. Just want to take a moment to thank the following patrons. It's massively appreciated that you're supporting the channel, covering the games we love. Stay retro.